Welcome to Quantum Finance. My name is Parker. I'm the head trader here, but I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. So in today's video, we'll take a look at the economic calendar, we'll go over some news, and then we'll do our market recap and market analysis. So starting here on the economic calendar, we did have core durable good orders come in at down 0.2% with 0% expected, and core PCE price index month over month come in at 0.4% with 0.3% expected. Now we can look at the calendar for next week. So Monday is a holiday celebrating Memorial Day. Tuesday we get consumer confidence. Wednesday we get job openings. Thursday we get non-farm employment change, initial jobless claims, ISM manufacturing and crude oil inventories. And then on Friday we get average hourly earnings, non-farm payrolls, and the unemployment rate. So now we can look at some news. So this is the foreign holdings of U.S. Treasuries as percent of total debt, as you can see down here at the lowest level it's been in 19 years. Looking here at the 1-month Treasury bill yield, it has moved up to 5.95%, which is the highest level we've seen with data going back to July of 2001. We also have the United States credit rating has been demoted from a AAA rating to a AA plus by China's top rating firm. And here we have, there was an average of over 2.49 million U.S. airline travelers per day over the last week, which is the highest level we've seen since August of 2019. We also have Neuralink announcing that they did receive FDA approval to launch their first in-human clinical studies. We also have Bud Light's parent company Anheuser-Busch has seen its market value plunge by $15.7 billion since its failed marketing campaign. We also have home buyers will be able to put as little as 1% down as payment for a home under a new program launched by Rocket Mortgage. We have the U.S. announcing a further $300 million in military aid to Ukraine. Now we can do our market analysis. We'll start here in the debt market, looking at the U.S. 10-year yield. As you can see, red day here in the 10-year yield after just getting a huge squeeze to the upside. It did make a new high above yesterday's highs, but still just sitting up here at the upper end of this daily range, maybe starting to run into some resistance here. Looking at the dollar, we do have a red day here in the dollar with large wicks to both sides. Kind of a doji day, but it did break above yesterday's highs. Kind of the same action here in the dollar and the 10-year yield. Turning to the stock market, as you can see, monster green day today in the stock market. Pretty much recovering all the losses we've had throughout the week and just getting a huge spike up here for a retest of last week's highs and running into this upper extreme. Turning green on the week after being red the entire week. Really strong close here. Looking at cryptocurrencies, we have XRP with a nice green day here. Pretty much bouncing off this midline here, as you can see in this kind of bull flag pattern. Looking for a squeeze to the upside. Getting a nice bounce here on the week. Turning to commodities, we'll start here in oil. Green day here in oil after getting that big kind of sell-off yesterday through that midline. Coming up for a retest of that midline. Turning to gold, we do have a green day here in gold after getting 2 red days here in a row. Looking like it's maybe trying to find support here in this price action from the beginning of February. Turning to silver, we do have a big green day here in silver after getting a massive sell-off. Looking like it pretty much wicked off that midline here on the monthly chart. This could definitely be a short-term bottom here for silver. As you can see, pretty much pulling into this wick back here from January 23rd. Now we can do our market analysis. We'll start with our volume analysis on the S&P 500. As you can see, big volume day today. Slightly above the vol average here, but just huge green candle here, running up into this upper extreme. And you can look over here at the weekly chart. I do want to point out that we did, on the RSI, poke above this upper trend line here in this rising wedge pattern, which is definitely a sign of strength here in the stock market. As you can see, like pretty much any type of pullback we've got over the past like month and a half has had a strong wick to the upside, which is definitely a sign of strength here in the stock market. Now we can look at the 3-minute chart. So we did get a gap up this morning, as you can see, getting a big push off the open, pulling back into VWAP before really extending to the upside, coming back down, pulling into this lower extreme here in this VWAP area before coming up for basically a double top here in the morning, coming down, making a higher low before extending to new highs, and then getting a slight pullback here into the close, closing right here above this previous high of the day. Now we can zoom out a little bit. If you look here on the 15-minute, we did have that ascending channel I was talking about yesterday. It did actually break up to the upside through that channel, come down for a retest before extending to the upside. And as you can see, we do have another ascending channel forming here. Looking at the 2-hour chart here, as you can see, pretty much all week we sold off. In the last 2 days, just massive V-bottom recovery coming up and touching these highs here from last week. Getting a huge reversal here in momentum coming up and retesting this downtrend line that we broke. Now we can look at the VIX and the NASDAQ. Looking here at the VIX, as you can see, getting a big sell-off here at the open, selling down through this previous key resistance level here that we've been referring to for the past couple of weeks. Getting a nice recovery and then pulling back and closing right at that level. Looking at the NASDAQ here, as you can see, just insane price action here in the NASDAQ after breaking through that trend line earlier in the week. Really just extending to the upside here, as you can see on the momentum, just getting a massive V-bottom recovery and really pushing up here towards the upper end of this momentum range. Now we can talk about some trades here. Let's go to our 1-minute chart and pull up our drawings. So we'll start here at the open. As you can see, getting that nice push up off that gap up. We did have a bull flag pattern form here with a squeeze, which is a bullish continuation pattern here. As you can see, getting the breakout out of this bull flag, but it did have a pretty volatile pullback for a retest. As you can see, pulling down through that trend line. You would like to see that trend line hold, but as you can see, getting a more violent pullback here before really catching a bid and getting a nice push up to the upside. And then here we did have a rising broadening wedge pattern, which is a bearish reversal pattern, as you can see, with a squeeze to the downside, which would have been a nice opportunity for a short here, just for a retest of, kind of towards this VWAP area. Then as you can see, we did get a descending channel here with squeeze to the upside, which would have been a nice opportunity for a long to come in for a retest of this previous price action here from earlier in the day in this broadening wedge. And then we did get another squeeze here at about 12 o'clock, but there wasn't really any good pattern here. And we did have a 5-minute squeeze, so you would kind of expect it to be a larger pattern. And then you can see we did kind of get this bull pennant form here with a squeeze to the upside, as you can see, breaking out of this pattern, coming back in for a retest before getting a push up for a retest of the highs. You also had this falling wedge pattern here with a short, this falling wedge pattern here with a squeeze to the downside. So, this really wasn't the best pattern. As you can see, it didn't really make too much of a move, but it was an opportunity for a quick scalp up for a retest of the highs. Then we did have another large 5-minute squeeze here. As you can see, there wasn't a 1-minute squeeze, but on the 5-minute chart, there was a large squeeze here. Let me show you that real quick. So as you can see, this is that pattern we were talking about here. As you can see, with this large squeeze on the 5-minute with upward momentum. So this could have been a nice opportunity in this falling wedge pattern, which is a bullish reversal pattern for a long, for a push to new highs on the day. So yeah, that was that pattern. And then we did have another squeeze here at about 320. Kind of a descending channel here, which it did break down here to the downside. Would have been a nice opportunity because we were super overextended here, running into last week's highs. So this was just, this was just a momentum squeeze to the downside, running into a major resistance level. Could have been a nice opportunity for a little fade down here into the close. So yeah, really strong way to close the week. I'm honestly surprised that we got this big of a green candle today, especially after being red all week. So next week is definitely going to be interesting with this RSI breaking out of this falling wedge to the upside here. And just like, as you can see, the steady increase in buy volume that we got this week. But yeah, that'll do it for the video. Appreciate y'all watching. I'll talk to y'all later.